The stickman came in for paper towels. He is leaving with a cashmere coat, a 30-pack of Greek yogurt, and a television. He did not plan any of this. He is not impulsive. He is not weak. He walked into a system that was designed, from the floor plan to the food court, to make exactly this happen. This is how it works. Before the stickman touches a single product, he has already paid $65. That is the annual membership fee, and that payment does something specific to his psychology. Researchers at the Wharton School studied what happens to consumer spending when people join a paid subscription program. They tracked purchase behavior before and after, using statistical models to separate the effect of the fee itself from everything else. Before the membership, members spent an average of $12 per month. After the membership, $43 per month, a 260% increase. But here is what makes this specific finding unusual. Only 1/3 of that increase was explained by the actual financial benefits of belonging, cheaper prices, better deals. The other 2/3 came from something else entirely, the sunk cost. The stickman paid $65 to walk through the door. That payment is gone whether he buys anything or not. But his brain refuses to accept it as a neutral fact. It treats the fee as a loss that needs to be recovered. Every visit, every cart, every purchase becomes an attempt to get his money's worth. Costco renews 92.3% of its US and Canadian members every year. That is not loyalty to a brand. That is a brain trying to justify a prior decision. The stickman walks in. There are no signs, no aisle numbers, no directory at the entrance, no map. The building is 147,000 square feet of steel racks, concrete floors, and products stacked on shipping pallets. It looks like a warehouse because it is one. But the absence of navigation is not an oversight. In environmental psychology, this is called the Gruen Transfer, named after Austrian architect Victor Gruen, who originally designed shopping malls as community spaces. Retailers quickly noticed that when shoppers entered a complex, non-linear environment, something shifted. A person who arrived with a list and a plan, a task-oriented shopper, became disoriented. The brain's cognitive mapping system, designed for predictable environments, began to fail. The shopper lost their route. Their focus softened. Their guard dropped. They stopped moving through the store. They started exploring it. Costco reinforces this by moving products constantly. The television that was in aisle 6 last month is somewhere else now. The organic olive oil migrated. The paper towels shifted 3 rows over. This is not supply chain chaos. It is the deliberate destruction of habitual routes. Every visit forces the stickman to search again. And while searching, he finds things he was not looking for. The milk is at the back. The eggs are at the back. The rotisserie chickens are at the back. To reach the things he actually came for, he has to walk through everything else first. A standard Walmart stocks around 140,000 individual products. A Costco stocks roughly 4,000. That number is not a limitation. It is a lever. By carrying only one brand of peanut butter instead of 30, Costco tells that manufacturer, "You want access to our 82 million members, you give us a price no one else can match." The smaller the assortment, the greater the purchasing power. But within those 4,000 products, approximately 1,000 rotate constantly. These are the treasures: a luxury handbag, a premium wine, a cashmere coat. This model was designed by Sol Price, the founder of Price Club, the predecessor of Costco, and refined by co-founder Jim Sinegal, who later explained the entire strategy to Jeff Bezos. Cheap staples bring people in. Unpredictable luxury keeps them coming back. Behavioral economists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky established that the psychological pain of a loss is roughly 2.5 times more powerful than the equivalent pleasure of a gain. Costco weaponizes this asymmetry. A product available today may be gone by Saturday. There is no restock date. There is no online equivalent at the same price. The window is now. The stickman does not buy the coat because he wants it. He buys it because his brain has already started calculating the pain of not having it. According to Harvard Business Review data cited by retail analysts, this treasure hunt layout accounts for more than 25% of Costco's impulse purchases. Halfway through the store, someone hands the stickman a small cup of soup. He takes it. It is warm. It costs him nothing. And now he owes something. In 2007, economist Armin Falk published a study in Econometrica on the mechanics of reciprocity. He sent charitable donation requests to over 9,000 people, randomly including either no gift, a small gift, or a larger gift. The group that received no gift donated 12% of the time. The group with a small gift, 14%. The group with the larger gift, 21%. A 75% increase in response rate. triggered entirely by receiving something first, with no obligation attached. Costco replicates this in a commercial environment, at scale, every day. The sample is unconditional. The vendor is standing right there. The social pressure is immediate. The stickman's brain calculates the soup as a gift. It responds the way it has always responded to gifts. By creating an impulse to reciprocate, he picks up the soup. He puts it in the cart. He did not need soup. The stickman reaches the checkout. His cart contains $300 worth of products he did not plan to buy. He pays. And then before he leaves, he buys a hot dog and a soda for $1.50. That price has not changed since 1985. Adjusted for inflation, $1.50 in 1985 is worth approximately $4.50 today. Costco has been expanding the discount, compounding it every year for 40 years. When rising beef costs in the mid-2000s threatened the price point, Costco did not raise it. Instead, they built 2 of their own meat processing plants, one in Tracy, California, one in Morris, Illinois, to vertically integrate production and eliminate supplier margins entirely. When the then CEO Craig Jelinek told co-founder Jim Sinegal that the company was losing money on the combo, Sinegal replied, "If you raise the price of the hot dog, I will kill you. Figure it out. The hot dog is not a product. It is a signal." Behavioral economist Daniel Kahneman described the peak-end rule. Humans do not evaluate an experience by averaging its parts. They remember 2 moments, the emotional peak and the end. The stickman just spent $300. His prefrontal cortex registered the pain of that number at the register, and then he sat down with a hot dog that cost $1.50. The memory of the checkout softens. The experience ends on a note of absurd, reliable value. The stickman walks out thinking, "I should come back next week." In fiscal year 2025, Costco generated $275 billion in total revenue. Of that, $5.3 billion came from membership fees alone. Less than 2% of revenue, but that 2% was almost the entire profit. The merchandise sells at margins capped at 14% for national brands and 15% for Kirkland. Traditional department stores average closer to 40%. Costco is not in the business of selling products at a profit. It is in the business of selling access. The average Costco basket size per visit is approximately $150. Walmart, $54. Target, $50. The stickman spends 3 times more per visit than he would anywhere else, and he pays $65 a year for the privilege of doing so. He came in for paper towels. He got the paper towels, and a television, and a coat, and soup he did not need. None of it was an accident.